Oh, hey, we started our channel out 7 years ago, helping people from all over the world find a second home here in Orlando. And over the years, we've definitely changed and broadened that scope to just cover everything Central Florida. Now, I thought it'd be cool today to dive back through and go through 8 to 10 different neighborhoods here in Central Florida that if you're thinking about buying a second home, that you should consider. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna talk about the 5 things that you need to think about when going through the process. Stay tuned. We'll dive into some specific neighborhoods in just a bit, but let's talk about an area of town that I think is really interesting, especially if you're more budget conscious. That's the Four Corners area. It's technically Davenport, right up and down 27, and depending on the time of day and week, it's about a 25 to 40-minute drive from Disney or Universal. The reason why people love this area is there's a lot of little neighborhoods that maybe have 100 to 300 homes max. There are a lot of them single-story block homes that were built in the early 2000s, 15 to 2,200 square feet, under $400,000. I'm talking about a pool home that might need a little bit of work, but it's a great option if you want a second home close to Disney. Oh, hey, you're still here, thank God. Hit the subscribe button before you leave. I'll keep you updated on all things real estate, theme parks, and living here in Orlando. One place that surprised me when I looked at where people were buying second homes over the past year was Lake Nona. Now, Lake Nona is right next to the airport. You're like 20 minutes away from MCO, and you're probably 30 to 40 minutes away from the theme parks, but you're tucked back away with all the other kind of growth that's going on. Some people move there because they want to have the VA access, or they're just looking to be a part of a thriving newer community. So you've got Laureate Park, as well as so many other neighborhoods in that Lake Nona area that are thriving and doing really well. Pricing there starts again in that 500 range, and depending on what neighborhood you're in, could go up into the $2, $3, $4 million range. So adding Lake Nona to the list, that actually surprised me looking at the data. Now leasing. Do you believe the theater will ever turn back into something? What should it be, by the way? Do you think it should be a community theater, another movie theater? Let us know down below. The third location we're going to talk about is Celebration, Florida. And if you're a Disney fan, you know that this is the town that Disney started. It's 4,500 single-family apartments and condos, all intermixed within one another. Now, you cannot have a short-term rental here, and that's one of the things people love. On top of the fact that it is so pristine and there's so many cool things that you can do here, is the fact that they don't have the Airbnbs like some of the other neighborhoods we've talked about. And so if you're looking to have a second home here, it's a great place to start as well, because some people will buy that townhome or condo and then eventually move here full time and buy maybe something a little bit bigger. We see a lot of people moving within Celebration instead of moving in and out, which to me means that they have a good sense of community. There's a reason why people love calling it home. We actually did a deep dive video, the ultimate guide to Celebration, Florida. I'll put the link down below. The fourth neighborhood we're going to talk about is Reunion, Florida. Say you like the proximity to the parks of Celebration, but you do want to be able to rent out your house while you're not there. That is Reunion. It's gated. It's got 3 full golf courses. There's restaurants and a whole bunch of other stuff within the gates, and it's pretty close to everything as well. Historically, Reunion was always a short-term Airbnb kind of neighborhood where almost everybody there used it as a second home, but that's actually started to change. I meet people almost every day that talk about that they live there full time. But if you want that option to be able to rent it out while you're not using it, it's a great neighborhood due to its proximity and all of the amenities that are inside. Hey, and if you're looking to sell or buy a second home here anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I want to be your real estate resource of choice. Check us out over on Google. We've got 1,600 5-star reviews. And then when you're ready, visit theorlandoreal.com/YouTube to get started. Maybe some of these massive master plan communities aren't for you. Well, I've got 3 other neighborhoods on the other side of Disney that you should consider. Number 1 is Legato by Mattamy Homes. It's like a 300 home community with townhomes starting in the 400-500 range and houses up to the 800 range. You can see fireworks right out your backyard, and it's really close to cast member parking. Right on the other side of cast member parking is Royal Estates and Windermere Trails. That was built by Pulte and Meritage Homes. On one side of the road, you have Orlando in the city of, and the other side is Windermere. So it sort of hugs this interesting unincorporated Orange County and Windermere. Now, houses in those 2 neighborhoods range from 700 to 800 all the way up to 1.3 million. So then you're starting to get a little bit higher in regards to pricing. But for the Disney fan, it's really hard to beat the location, hearing fireworks in your backyard every night. All right, right next to Windermere Trails and all the other things that are right outside of cast number parking is Horizon West. Now, Horizon West has 25,000 homes, and it's broken into villages and neighborhoods, and there's a lot of new construction. Almost all of Horizon West was built up over the past 20 years or so, and so there's a lot of new shops and gas stations and schools and a lot of things coming on there. You cannot use short-term rentals there at all. In fact, they don't like to see any rentals underneath a year. And so it's a really cool suburban area right on the outside of Disney to where you have no tourist traffic and a lot of growth going on. The price points in Horizon West start in the $500,000 range for like a townhome and or smaller home, all the way up to $2.5 million for some of the larger homes on the water. But I would say the sweet spot for new construction in Horizon West is going to be in that $600,000 to $800,000 range. That gets you 20 minutes from Disney, 25 minutes to 30 minutes to downtown Orlando. It's clear to see why so many people are using Horizon West as a second home, although I would say 95% of the people that own there actually live there full-time. The last neighborhood I'm going to talk about, and it's the most expensive neighborhood, is Golden Oak. It's 340 condos, boutique homes, and estates ranging from $5 million up to, well, if the biggest house in the neighborhood listed, probably be over $20 million. Now, a lot of the people that I've helped move into the neighborhood are second homeowners, and so they're using this as their vacation home. You cannot rent them out by the night like many people think, but you have so many amenities inside of that double-gated community inside of Walt Disney World property. It's truly a unique place to call home. Buying a second home can be an exciting and scary thing. Here's 5 things to think about as you're going through the process. Number 1 is going to be location. Think about how you're going to use this property. Is it going to be because you want to be near the theme parks? If so, then thinking about sort of Disney and Universal and SeaWorld, or are you going to be going over to the coast wanting to use either New Smyrna Beach or the West Coast Gulf Front? And so understanding the location and proximity is really important. I think getting in a car yourself, not Ubering, but grab a car, drive around, feel what that feels like is actually a really worthwhile endeavor. Being able to see what traffic looks like at 5:30 on a Thursday will give you a better idea of how far out you're willing to go as well. So first tip, location. The second thing you have to think through is, are you going to use this as a short-term rental while you're not here? Or do you want an area that only allows long-term rentals? Areas like Celebration and Horizon West strictly prohibit short-term rentals. And so if you try to do that, they will fine you on a nightly basis. So thinking through the proximity and then how you're going to use the property is really important. The third thing that you need to think through when buying a second home is going to be the fees associated with it. And I'm not talking about the closing costs as much as I am the monthly and yearly fees. The homeowners associations here sometimes get very expensive, and so you can find a very affordable place to buy, but then it might be $800 or $900 a month for homeowners associations, sometimes even more. And some of those homeowners associations, you get what you pay for, and it's fantastic. Other ones are like, why am I paying this right now? The other fee to look out for is the CDD. In some areas, you'll notice that our tax bills are a bit higher because the developer has tacked on a bond that they pass on to you to pay off over the next 30 years. And so those are 2 major costs to pay attention to when buying a second home. Let's talk about weather for a minute, because if you're buying a second place in Florida, many times people think, well, it's sunny like this all day, every day. Now, I'll tell you that from January till about now here in early May, the weather is perfection. It's not very humid, it doesn't really rain a lot, but coming from May all the way to November, it gets to be really hot, humid, and it rains almost every single day. Not to mention hurricane season, and so let's talk about that next. One of the number 1 things people ask when they're moving here, whether it is for a second home or not, is, do I need to worry about hurricanes, and what does that even look like? For us, we've lived here for 9 years. We've gone through multiple hurricanes, some that were Category 5 when they hit the Gulf, and made it to about a Category 1 or tropical storm by the time it hits us here. We're all kind of prepped and ready because you know about a hurricane typically a week or 2 in advance. So I wouldn't say that it doesn't take down some of these small trees and branches and that sort of thing, but being inland here in Orlando is a great spot to be in relation to hurricanes in general. One of the last tips I'll give you today, or things to think through, is, do I want new construction or resale? We have a ton of new construction options here with builders that are economical, kind of first-time home buyer type builders, all the way up to custom home builders that build those multi-million-dollar homes and everything in between. And so there's a lot of things to think through that. When I think through resale, there's a lot of older housing stock, those homes that have been around for 20, 25 years that need new roofs, HVAC, maybe a new pool and some of those things, but are a bit more affordable. So thinking through, how do you want to go about it? Do you want to have a house that might need to get some upgrades over time, or do you want to have that thing sort of ready to go? Now, new construction doesn't mean no problems. There's plenty of things that through the warranty process, my team and I can help you with. But on the resale side, getting together your contractor list to make sure you have an electrician, a plumber, a flooring person, a roofer, all of those things, we can help you in either way. And so we started today at under 400,000 and wrapping it up over 20 million. And so regardless if you're looking to buy or sell a house for a second home or anywhere here in Central Florida, my team and I want to be your real estate resource of choice. Make sure you reach out at theorlandoreal.com/YouTube or email us at info@pozekgroup.com. We'll see you guys on the next video.